Today I have week 11 in my 2018 Project Life album. I'm still using the March Citrus Twist Kits Pocket Life kit. I've already pulled out a few things that I think I want to use. So you can see I have my photos. I have quite a few more this week than I did last week. And I'll talk a bit more about how I am going to include that many photos in my one-page spread in a little bit. Here are a few papers. And this is the week of St. Patrick's Day, so I thought green would be appropriate, so I grabbed a few that had lots of green in them. And then this, I think I might cut these out, or a couple of these. And then I've got a couple cards too that had some green in them as well. I chose to grab an alpha from my stash instead of using the black one. Instead of using this one that came in the kit, I think I'm going to use this blue one instead. It just is a bit softer and goes with the colors in the papers a bit better. I've also pulled out some things from the ephemera kit or ephemera pack and the cut-aparts that I've already cut out and have in here ready to go. Otherwise, I guess it's time to just get started. So to start off, I'm going to place my photos where I think I want them in the spread. I've already got most of them trimmed out. And there are several photos from one event, and I'm going to put them in the top right corner in a flip pocket. But for now, I'm just going to stick them in the pocket, and then I'll come back later to adhere it after I've done all of my embellishing. Next, I'm going to go through the cards and papers that I've picked out and decide where I want those on the spread. There aren't a lot of places. There's just the two empty ones and then the one photo that needs a card behind it. So I'm just going through what I have and selecting what I want to put where. The one that I'm trimming out now will be my title card. I'm going to work on it first. So I know that I need some kind of label or blank space where I can put the dates. So I think at first I might use this little label that came in the ephemera pack, but then I decided to just cut out a couple of these little postcard things out of the 6x6 paper that came in the kit. And there's a little envelope too. I think I might use that. So I cut them out rather roughly and then realized that I don't like the white border on them, so I'm going to trim them out further. And once I have the white border off of this one, I realize it just kind of blends into that paper I have behind it. So I'm going to go back to that same piece of paper and cut out a different one. Now that I have them cut out, I'm going to use these Kelly Perky Alphas to spell out week 11. But first I'm going to date stamp this little card. And if you watched my last video, then you know that I put the entire wrong month. I do that again this time. I still haven't figured out. I figured it out about halfway through this spread. That's when I realized I did the last one wrong as well. So right now it says April, but it is actually March. I'm not sure where I want to put the week number on this card yet, so I'm going to grab a piece of packaging and line up the words here first so that I can move it around and decide where I want to put it. And I know this card needs something else, I'm just not sure what yet, so I'm just going to add a few staples and then come back to it later. add this picture to the card. It covers up the first little phrase on there, but I'm okay with that. So now I'm going to go through the embellishments that I picked out and decide where I want some of them. I know that I've pulled out way more embellishments than I'll end up using, so for now I'm just placing them around roughly where I think I might want them, and then I'll go back and edit each one later. I grab over the puffy sticker sheet to see if there's something from here that I might want to add as well. And I see one that I think will work well on the title card. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. And then I decide to keep this one really simple just by putting the label that I actually made for the last spread but works really well here, and a little puffy heart on this one, and call that one done. Now I'm going to work on embellishing this flip pocket. I know I want to use this die cut, but I think it needs a little bit something underneath it, so I just grabbed the washi tape that I had sitting on my desk that happens to work well with the spread, and I'm going to put a little piece of it down before I adhere the die cut. A couple staples, and this one's all done. For the opposite side, I'm going to end up using one of the little puffy hearts in the upper right corner and stapling that on. And then I have a little bit to say about this event, and realized I hadn't pulled out any kind of label, but I remembered that there was another one on the cut apart sheet. So I'm going to grab that and cut that out real fast and add that to the bottom of this picture and do my journaling there. I'm not a big fan of my handwriting, but I know that it's important to include, so I try and balance a mixture of typing and handwriting on all of my spreads. Both of these are done now, so I'm going to slip them back in the pocket, but I realized I put them in upside down, so I turned them around, slip them back in, and then work on the picture that will be in the actual pocket. Again, I know I want to use this die cut, but it doesn't stand out on that picture, so I'm just going to do the same thing I did with the front and add a bit of washi. And that one's all done. I'm going to work on this 4x6 photo. This is actually St. Patrick's Day, so I want to add a label and do a little bit of journaling about what we did that day. And then there are also these two little die cut hearts. One is green and one has a little rainbow stripe on it, which seemed perfect to me. Oh, here is where I realize that I have stamped the wrong month on my title card. So I do end up stamping the correct date on this one. I'm using blue ink for this spread. Now I'm just going to adhere these two little heart die cuts to this photo using my Martha Stewart glue pen, and I'll add a staple as well. just need to trim this photo down so that it will fit into the 3x4 pockets, and that one's all done. I can move on to the next one. For this image, I'm just going to add a little die cut and staple it on, and I know it needs something else at the bottom. I'm just not sure what yet, so I'm going to move on to something else and come back to it. I have a little bit to say about this, and I originally thought I would use my typewriter. I decided to use my handwriting instead, and I really wish I had just used my typewriter like I originally intended. But it is what it is, so I'm gonna keep it and go with it. I'm a little bit stuck here, so I'm going to do something I know that I want to do, something I don't have to think about too much. So I take this card over to my typewriter and type up some journaling. I'm just covering up the adhesive on the back with some washi. And you can see the journaling is really top heavy. I didn't have as much to say as I thought I did. So I know I need to add something to the bottom of this card. And I thought maybe a stamp would work. But then I remembered I had this other paper, so I think I'm going to fussy cut some of the arrows out of here and use them in a few places around the spread. So I'm almost done, but I feel like a couple of these cards still need a little something, and I'd really like to use my stamps more, so that's what I reach for. And I find one that will work on this card with the journaling, and again I grab that blue ink over and stamp it a few times, and I don't get it straight, but it's okay, it's stamped okay. I think it looks just fine. And then I have another one to add to this bottom photo. And since it's on a photo, I grab the StazOn ink, and it does not work. It does not look great at all. But again, I'm just gonna go with it. Nothing in my albums turns out perfectly, and that's okay with me. So there you have it. That is the spread all done. Here are a few close-up photos. I hope you enjoyed this video and found some inspiration. If you would like to be notified when I upload new videos, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.